Hi, everyone. Chris Damboise here on day 5 of this new social distancing way of life that we've all started engaging in here using digital technology recently. And we're reaching out to our clients in various ways to try to stay connected over the coming days and perhaps weeks as this new life upon us emerges. I was hoping today to share with you some thoughts about some of the more recent books I've read in the past year, and also some of the books I'm looking forward to reading. I know a lot of us have more time on our hands. We're trying to find ways to stay busy, keep ourselves educated, connect with others, and so I thought this might be one way to do that. I've got a collection of books here. This book, Legacy, here, it is interesting. It was part of my original journey into High Five. High Five was reading this as part of their internal culture work. In Legacy, that the best-selling author James Kerr goes deep into sort of the heart of the world's most successful sporting team, legendary All Blacks rugby team out of New Zealand, and he helps reveal 15 sort of powerful and practical lessons for leadership. I thought that as a part of each of these books, I'd read a little excerpt from it. I think this one, this book in particular really will help those of you who are in team development or doing group work. But here's an interesting excerpt, and I think it speaks to both the culture of the All Blacks and also to the way that we like to work here at High Five. I'm sure you've heard this term before, but here I go. Ubuntu is the essence of being human, says Bishop Desmond Tutu. Ubuntu speaks particularly about the fact that you can't exist as a human being in isolation. It speaks about interconnectedness. Ubuntu does not mean that people should not have self-interest, said Nelson Mandela in an interview with journalist Tim Modesi. But you are going to do so in order to enable the community around you to be able to improve. These are the important things in life. Ubuntu means we send out ripples from us into the wider community. Our actions affect everyone, not just us. I think the message here, beyond the sort of team development work that I am involved in, and perhaps you are, and the culture work we do with our own team internally at High Five, I think speaks to the greater lesson of the day around recognizing our role in keeping others safe currently. And this other book, Range, is subtitled Why Specialists Triumph in a Specialized World. It's by David Epstein. And David examined the world's most sort of successful athletes, artists, musicians, inventors, scientists, and other sort of trend forecasters. He discovered that in most fields of research or areas that people were working, especially those that are complex and unpredictable, that generalists, not specialists, were primed to excel in those areas. Generalists often find their path late, and they often juggle many interests rather than just focusing on a single specialty. They're also more creative, more agile, and able to make better connections than their more specialized peers. Range makes a compelling case for actively cultivating inefficiency, actually. He states failing a test is the best way to learn. I think some of this work is particularly important in our work in education, working with students, creating great learning environments. And I wanted to share a little excerpt from page 210 in this. It's talking about the way different people bring information together, whether the environment they're operating in is kind or unkind. And kind environments where the goal is to recreate prior performance with as little deviation as possible. Teams of specialists work superbly. Surgical teams work faster and make fewer mistakes as they repeat specific procedures. And specialized surgeons get better outcomes, even independent of repetitions. If you need to have surgery, you want a doctor who specializes in the procedure and has done it many, many times, preferably the same team, just as you would want Tiger Woods to step in your life if your life was on the line for a 10-foot putt. They've been there many times and now have to recreate a well-understood process that they have executed successfully before. The same goes for airline crews. Teams that have experienced working together become exceedingly efficient at delegating all the well-understood tasks required to ensure a smooth flight. When the National Transportation Safety Board analyzed its database of major flight accidents, it found that 73% of those accidents occurred on a flight crew's first day working together. Like surgeries and putts, the best flight is one in which everything goes according to routine, long understood and optimized by everyone involved with no surprises. However, when the path is unclear, say a game of Martian tennis, those same routines no longer suffice. Some tools work fantastically in certain situations, advancing technology in smaller but important ways, and those tools are well known and well practiced. Andy Odercook told me, these same tools will also pull you away from a breakthrough innovation. In fact, they'll turn a breakthrough innovation into an incremental one. I was thinking about that quote today as I was getting ready to talk with you all. And I think about the two different aspects of the coronavirus currently going on in our world, and how, teams of specialists in ERs are working diligently, managing respirators in very controlled environments, trying to take the best care with people who've gotten this virus. At the same time, there are researchers in other places who are trying to make up new stuff that might cure the virus, that could vaccinate people who already have it, who could do lots of things, maybe mass produce safety masks much quicker. And I think those people, I bet, are going to tend to be generalists who are thinking broad across a lot of spectrum of information in fields of study, who are going to make those breakthroughs happen. So anyhow, Range, it's a great book. I think you'll enjoy reading it. The last one that I want to point out at this time is this one called Where You'll Find Me, subtitled Risk Decisions in the Last Climb of Kate Matrosova. It's an interesting story. It occurred on February 15th, 2015. Kate was an avid mountaineer. She set off before sunrise for a traverse of the northern presidential range in New Hampshire's White Mountains. Late on the following day of February 16th, rescuers carried her frozen body out of the mountains amid some of the worst weather ever recorded in the White Mountains. At 32 years old, Kate was ultra fit, healthy, and had already summited much higher peaks on several continents in the world. Among her state-of-the-art equipment with her, she had a rescue beacon and a satellite phone. Yet despite all the best efforts of more than 40 expert search and rescue personnel, there was a New Hampshire Army National Guard Black Hawk helicopter involved in a civilian air patrol Cessna airplane. They couldn't reach her in time to save her life. And the big question is, what went wrong? And in Where You'll Find Me, Ty Gagne, the author, offers possible answers to that question and demonstrates why this story, for me, was such an intriguing and informative case study in risk analysis and decision-making. This particular read is quick. It doesn't take very long. It's very engaging. It's an unfortunate story, but I think it'll help folks who work in the challenge course, particularly if you have an active challenge course program where you're taking participants out and using low and high elements, to help you really create a framework for risk management as a larger entity. In particular, develop some skill around risk analysis and make you also question your own decision-making capability and perhaps your staff or the other professionals that you work with. Those are books that I've either read recently or have reread over the last year. I hope you have found this useful and helpful, and perhaps I'd be curious if you have other great reads that you would suggest for others who are in our line of work, and maybe you could post them on whatever social media channel these get out, so that the rest of us could see what your suggestions are for quarantined reading, so to speak. All my best. Be safe. Wash your hands.